video.
I see you got the dragon shirt.
Yes.
We took this up on the dragon. And I got the dragon.
We've been hogged.
Stickers, but I haven't put them on yet. Oh, okay.
That is so cute.
Skyway sticker on there. Yeah.
We're gonna see some spot of it when it's coming up.
Now, what the video? Did you see the camper with it on?
Yes.
Oh, it was the camper too. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your name?
Dave Pilkey.
Okay, and
My
you're
name's
from?
from Ontario, Canada.
From
Just
Canada.
Ontario, Canada.
And he just informed us that he saw our contraption on YouTube
Yeah.
just recently.
That was cool. So when I came in here, I thought, hey, that's
That's so cool because this is the first time we've ever had anybody actually recognize us.
yeah, no,
And we've been hogged. I love it. I love it.
whatever gave you guys the idea to build that? What gave you the idea of just starting?
It was
Right before we got married, I had a motorcycle.
Okay.
And we would ride on the weekends and stuff. And then after we got married and my first son was born, I was like, I gotta get rid of this thing before I get killed on it. And so I got rid of it. And years later, she would say something about, you know, I miss going riding. And I was like, look, there's too many people on the road now occupied with that phone. I'm not getting out there on a motorcycle. I'm not getting killed on a motorcycle. I said, but I tell you what I want me those sand rails, you know, that they would street legal them. I said, I want something like that. And that car my stepdad bought for my mom for her birthday one year, and she rode in a little bit, but she didn't like having to get in and out of it. He rode in it more than her, but he was like 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah.
Big man. When he sat in it, he was just about looking over the top of the windshield. And he rode in it a while. Well, then next thing you know, I didn't see it no more. And then all of a sudden, it showed up at our house. I live across the driveway from my mom, and it showed up in the driveway, and it was wrecked. And I was like, what happened? What'd you have a wreck? She said, I didn't have that. She said, that's your sister's car. They had sold it to my sister. I didn't even know anything about it. Well, her husband hydroplaned it on the interstate and just beat it all to pieces. Still running drove, but it was just cosmetic bad. Broke the steering wheel off. And it sat there and sat there and sat there, and I was like, what are they gonna do with it? Because that was the first thing I thought of. And she's like, I don't know, you gotta talk to her. Well, him hauled around. Well, the next thing you know, my son makes a comment. Well, actually, he showed up at my house, and I said, what you doing? And he said, Aunt Tracy gave me that car. And I said, what? Yeah, I asked her what she'd sell it, and she told me I could have it. So he got it, and he took the top off because the top was ruined, and he just rode in it every now and then. Well, then he run it hot one day and parked it. And I asked him, I said, what you gonna do with that Miata? And he was like, oh, I'm gonna fix it one day, Daddy. I said, no, you ain't. I said, you need to just go ahead and let me have it. Well, I did a little horse trading. I had a little pickup, and I was like, here, you can have that pickup. You give me the Miata. So I went and got it and hauled it to my glass shop and just started cutting. And I cut everything off of it that I was like, okay, it don't need that. Don't need that. And then I started roll caging it. And the whole time she come in, she's like, what are you doing?
I told him not to build it.
I'm building something to ride in on the weekend.
I did.
She was like, you're wasting money, and I was like,
I gave him a hard
you don't
time.
have to ride in it. I'm gonna ride in it. So the further along I get, she shows up at the shop and she's looking. She's like, "Oh, that looks like that's gonna be fun, right?" I was like, "Yeah, for me and the boys." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "You don't want me to have it, so you're not riding
I
it."
gave him such a hard time.
So I get it all finished and I bring it home and I take my younger boys for a ride, and I come back and she's all sold up. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" She's like, "You're not gonna take me for a ride?" I was like, "I shouldn't, but get in."
Yep.
We wasn't a mile from our house, and she's just laid back there, and I was like, "So what do you think?" She's like, "This is the best idea you ever had." And I was like, "Now you finally see it." Now it seems like she would have learned on that. I started building that, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I had two of those cars. That one there actually was my work car, and I had another one. Well, one of my teenage sons was ready to drive, and I was like, "Okay, you want to ride this car?" And he's like, "I want a car like this work car." And I was like, "Look, I got two of them. We'll make you a good car, and then I'll just toss the other one." And that's what I was going to do. But I wanted to build a camper, one of the little teardrops for this.
Yep.
And I was fixing to haul it off for scrap. And I was like, you know what? I need to get everything off of it that I can use on my camper. The rear axle. So I get up under it, and I was like, well, it don't have a rear axle. It's got independent suspension because it was a front-wheel drive car. I was like, well, that ain't gonna work. And I'm laying up under it looking, I was like, wait a second. I get out from under it, I start pulling tape measure. I was like, there's my camper.
Full-size
It's got a
bed.
full-size bed in it.
Oh, really?
So she comes to the shop, she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with that car? And I was like, I'm building a camper. She's like, ah. I was like, look, get in there. That was before, all I had was inside gutted, and I had a sheet of plywood on the floor. I was like, get in there, close your eyes, get in there, and lay down and put your head up here by the
Windshield.
firewall.
Yeah.
And she laid down. I was like, open your eyes. And she's like, this is going to be awesome. Because all you see
You
is
see
it's just open 'cause
stars.
it's laid up under that windshield.
It's perfect.
It's like out in the stars, you can see all the stars and everything.
It's
So
perfect.
it's full-size bed. It's got a 5,000 BTU window unit. The exhaust part's in the trunk. You can look at it
Yeah,
here.
I was gonna ask you about that. Fuel in there.
Yeah.
It needs some little tinkering on, but it's so
not, I
cool.
mean, it's not finished, but we can finish it.
It's so cool. We meet some of the best people around here. This is so awesome.